Welcome to Wars and Wisdom, a series designed to educate, provoke insight and inspire a deeper understanding and perspective. Now here's your host, Sam.
Welcome to Wars and Wisdom. My name's Sam, and I'm going to be the host of this series. Now, probably by first glance, you're thinking that this series is going to be me talking about stories of the war and the wisdom that I have possibly acquired. You're not wrong in that. However, when I talk about the wars, I'm talking about the wars that I have personally fought in my own mind, have fought in my own life, have fought with people against, and situations that I have gained incredible wisdom from. I realized not long ago that there are a lot of situations that I've gone through in my life that, quote unquote, are not normal, that a lot of people have not necessarily experienced and gone through and had to work through and heal from. And in turn, it's given me a lot of insight and a lot of perspective. Over time, a lot of people have come to me when they have had issues, when they wanted advice, when they wanted to see things from a different perspective. And I realized that because I had been through all the things that I had, I was able to give that. And we finally got to a place where we thought, oh, actually, that might actually be really helpful for people, especially at a time when healthcare costs are extremely expensive. Therapy is extremely expensive. A lot of people are turning to AI. A lot of people are turning to holistic therapies. A lot of people are turning to a lot of different modalities because they want answers and insight and they want to gain perspective and knowledge, but everything is expensive AF right now. So I totally get it. So I am here to create a series that talks about the wisdom and insight and knowledge I have acquired from walking through the fires of my own personal life and journey, and to come out on the other side to share them with you, because I truly feel like that is one of the main reasons why I went through all of the destruction that has happened in my life, so that I can give those insights and perspectives to people who either may go through it, are going through it, or who may be able to help somebody that is going through it. So a little bit about me so we can get a little bit more acquainted with one another. My name's Sam. I'm a spiritual life coach. I'm an aura reader. I have a background working in mental health and eating disorders. I used to be an esthetician working in the skincare industry. I'm a creator. I'm a writer. I'm an author. I'm an inventor. I do a lot of things. I love creative shit. I'm a lover of interior design. I love animals. Few fun facts about me when I was a little kid. I used to love Gushers. They were one of my favorite snacks. I used to love to collect Pogs, Beanie Babies, Hanson, Spice Girls, watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the Doodle Bear, one of my favorite toys as a kid. I also, too, loved Mary-Kate and Ashley. They were my go-to when I needed to solve crimes as a kid. I don't watch these true crime shows. When I was a kid, I was way ahead of the game. I was watching true crime with Mary-Kate and Ashley. That is the length of my true crime that it goes. So, without further ado, welcome back to Wars and Wisdom. On today's episode, we're talking Stella the Jelly. And if you're unfamiliar with Stella the Jelly is the book that I wrote last year. It's a children's book about how to spot the signs regarding emotional abuse. And the reason why I wanted to put this book out into the world is because there are so many people out there who do not know what the signs of this potentially look like. And this can happen in many situations and scenarios. It does not have to be in romantic relationships. This can happen with caregivers or parents. This can happen in friendships. This can happen in work dynamics. And I really wanted to highlight some key things to look out for and be mindful of so that people are able to recognize the patterns, so that people are understanding from a different perspective of what this can potentially look like, and also to protect their energy if they happen to be around somebody who is doing this, because awareness is everything. And one thing that I think people do not realize when it comes to emotional abuse is the longer that you stay in those dynamics, the more havoc it is going to wreak on your system. And when I talk about your system, I'm talking about health related things. I'm talking about psychological related things. There are so many long-term consequences that are crucial if you are not addressing this type of abuse and you are constantly surrounded by it. I list all of the different instances that can happen as a result of it in the back of this book. And it's just one of the reasons why I wanted to put this book out into the world, because the more awareness that you have at an earlier age of what this can look like, the better chance you will have at being able to spot the signs and recognize it as it is happening, and in order to protect yourself. Now, the thing with me being an aura reader, I wanted to tie into how spiritually this affects your energy field. And it has a profound effect on who you are spending your time with, the environments that you are in, the relationships that you keep within your life. If you are around people that are constantly putting you down, that are constantly being negative, that are just constantly, making you feel just low, not yourself, that has a profound effect on you energetically. And you may not realize how much it does until you are out of the situation. Some people just become accustomed to it, and that's where the danger lies, because when you start to become accustomed to it and not recognize that that is a major red flag and problem, that's when you are more susceptible to these long-term consequences to happen, because you are just accustomed, your nervous system has gotten used to it, rather than being able to recognize the patterns and the signs. So writing Stella the Jelly, like I said, this was not just a children's book that I put out to the world about jellyfish. This has the effects of what this type of emotional abuse can do to somebody. This ties in the spiritual aspect of how this affects your aura. This ties into a deeper understanding behind when the abuse is happening, how you can recognize it and see it for what it is and be able to protect yourself, all in the same stance of it all. But this is something that I threw on the age range for 7 years plus to start reading, because, I will just say this, and, unpopular opinion, I feel like the dating scene is starting earlier than later, the more years we go. So the more understanding and awareness people have prior to entering the dating scene, I think that the more chances they will have at being able to recognize and spot signs. And I was somebody personally who was not around a whole lot of this. So for me to see it play out, for me to be immersed in these types of situations, I really did not understand, what was happening essentially. And then my background working in mental health, I also can see where trauma responses come from. I can see where, patterns and manipulation and where all of that ties into somebody's personality. So it was really hard for me to decipher when this was happening and to be able to pinpoint and recognize the signs. It was not until I was away from it that I was finally able to understand the complexity of just how bad things were and how bad they can be for other people. And this has taught me a lot of insight. This has taught me a lot of knowledge when it comes to this topic. And it's something that I'm passionate about talking about. It's something that I want more people to have the awareness of, because there is just too many people that are out there that are going through these types of dynamics, that are suffering with mental health issues, that are suffering with self-esteem issues, that are suffering with physical symptoms as a result of this. So that's why this book was so important for me to put out. If there is somebody that is going through an emotionally abusive situation that you feel would benefit from reading this book, if you know somebody that you would like to gift this book to, I highly encourage it. I feel that anybody prior to entering the dating scene, this is a wonderful book to educate kids on as far as what these behaviors can possibly look like. You know, me being a writer, me having a creative brain, I was able to do this in a way where it gave out real life scenarios. It gave out real life situations that can happen, that you're not, constantly thinking of, well, how can this possibly play out? I lay it out very simply in a story that ties everything together on the spiritual level as well as how it affects your aura. And I'm really proud of what I was able to do with this book. This book was incredibly healing for me to write. This book, gave me all the emotions while I was putting it together, while I was putting together the characters, the storyline, coming up with scenarios. It was, a very creative, cathartic process for me to do it all. And I'm so excited that it's out there now. I've gotten wonderful feedback from it, and everybody that has read it really enjoys how well it is put together as far as being able to pinpoint certain behaviors that resonate and make sense. So Stella the Jelly, it is available now. I will throw in the link in the comment section if you would like to purchase this book or know somebody that this book would benefit from. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting this series, and stay tuned for our next one.